Yeah, you can use that microphone on that side and we'll use this one. Oh, all right, all well. You know, let me just do a quick overview here because I'm very interested in how, starting with HomeExchange, you know, and we forget that homes are exchange of homes or people traveling from a place to place, but to homes, not to hotels, is really an important part of tourism that we haven't seen that often or that we don't talk about that often. And here's a chance to leverage the residences, the homes of people all over the world in exchanges into a tourism product and hear how they can help sustainability and why is it more sustainable. So that is with Monsieur Emmanuel Arnaud. Very curious to hear what he has to say. Before we move on to Dr. K for short, Dr. K from Thailand is going to tell us about Thailand's vision for sustainability, Thailand's 2030 vision, and that's very exciting as well because it involved a lot of back and forth with green destinations and with other stakeholders. And Thailand is a huge country, it's so many regions. So imagine how that is going to, how they are going to implement across a huge country, unlike Slovenia, which we've seen has done it very effectively, but it's a small country. So let's see what Thailand is doing before going on to Caroline Mignon. And she has a network of professionals here in France, based in Paris, but covering the whole country of France in a way. And imagine bringing all these players along to create something fabulous in terms of information exchange and much more. So we're going to hear about that. And then we'll go to one French region where Deborah Lagoff will tell us about... Sorry, c'est Le Goff, excusez-moi. Madame Le Goff will tell us about how she manages her region. And from a sustainability perspective, I'm going to give you each 2 minutes to introduce yourselves, or a minute and a half. And last but not least, Beatrice Barrial from Riviera Maya Sostenible, or the Mayan Riviera. Imagine, not so far from Cancun, the most mass tourism destination in South America maybe, how just kilometers away from that is one of the most sustainable destinations. So we have a quite varied mix, and we're going to try to present that. To present myself, I'm Iyad Kayali, officially the Middle East, North Africa, Southern Europe director, but unofficially I'm working with Green Destinations in very many different parts of the world. That's my official title because I happen to be originally from Lebanon and Jordan. I'm a Greek national, I'm a Canadian national, and I'm just a citoyen du monde, comme on dit en français, or a citizen of the world. And with that, let us start with Monsieur Emmanuel Arnaud to present himself. And let's go.
Thank you so much, Iyad. Thank you, Iyad. Great intro. I'm also a citizen of the world, but I'm French and born in France and lived in France, but still a citizen of the world. Right after lunch, it's hard to get some energy going, so I'm going to ask you a couple questions just to see who I'm talking to. Who here has heard of HomeExchange? Please raise your hand. Okay, about a third of the room. And who has done a HomeExchange? Ooh, 5 members. Hi, members. I love my members. So we are a network of 250,000 people who put their homes online and who host each other for free, so no hotel, no Airbnb costs, and it's a great way to do hospitality. This year it was about 15 million overnights, and we're growing 50% per year. Delighted to tell you more later.
We're going to hear all about it soon. Miss Kay, please.
Hi, everyone. So I just want to make sure that you already have high energy. Can you say สวัสดีค่ะ? Then don't need to do, only just need to do like this as well. Okay, สวัสดีค่ะ.
สวัสดีค่ะ.
Thank you very much for everyone as well. So my name is Gao Ta. So I'm the educators and as a tourism expert working with the different partner in Thailand as well. We are the leaders to supporting Department of Tourism and also do a lot of project with the committed partner of the 60 in different ministry as well. So I will talk more about it. Thank you so much. ขอบคุณค่ะ.
ขอบคุณครับ. And that's our pass to go to Madame Mignon and back to France.
Yes. Hello everyone, I'm Caroline Mignon. I work in tourism for 30 years right now, this year. And I'm here to represent the French Network for Sustainable Tourism, which is called Acteurs du Tourisme Durable. And I'm also a professor, so I teach the future professional of tourism for these issues on sustainable tourism. And it's quite important to say that we have also to put that to the future generation also, and future professionals.
Absolutely, very important, the future generation.
And I will explain what Acteurs du Tourisme Durable is just after.
Just after Deborah and Beatrice also introduce themselves. Deborah.
Hello, everybody. I'm also a dinosaurus of tourism since I'm working for tourism for more than 20 years. For 6 years now, I've been working for Granville Terre et Mer Tourist Office. I'm the director. Granville Terre et Mer is in Normandy, and I will tell you a lot more about it in a few minutes.
Fantastic. Deborah, I think you're the most attractive dinosaur I've ever met personally. So so I think we're on a good footing. And Beatrice?
Thank you, merci. I am Beatrice from Mexico. I am a transformed professional from marketing, graphic design, and communication into sustainability around 25 years ago, because I saw the reality of the Mexican Caribbean, and I decided to try to create something different to make a positive impact in the region. Thank you.
Fantastic, great. Very short and sweet, which gives us more time for a debate later on. So please, if you have any questions from anything you hear, let us know. Keep them for the end, generally. Note them down, because we're going to have like a 25-minute discours or exchange of opinions or questions. Let's start again with Monsieur Emmanuel and HomeExchange.
Yes, thank you. So since I'm a crazy innovator, I did a presentation without a PowerPoint presentation, so I hope you'll bear with me. I have old-fashioned paper notes. And I wanted to tell you how happy I am to be in Montpellier, because it's in Montpellier that I did my second HomeExchange as a customer of my own company. So, you know, you start your company, and it was here in Montpellier that I did it. And there were a number of lessons that struck me from that second HomeExchange I did. The first one is I didn't choose Montpellier. Montpellier chose me. I had my house available. I wanted to organize a vacation with my kids. I wanted somewhere sunny, and somebody from Montpellier contacted me. That's something that's very different about HomeExchange. A second thing is I didn't go to Montpellier. I went to the Duprés. The Dupré family were the people who were inviting me in their home, and they went into mine, and that changed everything. The fact that I could see the city through the eyes of a local who would give me a guide and show me where to go, what to do, what food to taste. The third is that this house was a perfect fit for my family. I had 2 kids, age 2 and 4, and the Dupré had 2 kids, age 2 and 4, which means that they had the right kind of toys in the house, and that there was the right kind of protection around the pool, and that made me feel safe for my family when I was in their house. The fourth is that thanks to them, I tried the fougasse au friton, which is a local specialty that they had left on the table for me, and I loved it, and I brought some home to Paris to share with my friends. And fifth, I used their car during my stay. So when I arrived, I could use their home, and there was also a car with 2 car seats, the right age for my kids. That was really, really convenient, and enabled me to go see, for instance, Saint-Guillaume-le-Désert, which was a 45-minute drive. So when you think of home exchanging in your destination, you usually think of 3 advantages of home exchanging for your destination. The first one is that contrary to short-term rentals, there's no competition between locals and tourists. There's no impact on the housing market. There's families living there, and when they're gone, tourists live in the same space. The second, it means that there is a very good use of physical infrastructure. The houses are used as much as they can be. And the third is that home exchange helps your inhabitants to go on a vacation. 25% of our members would not have gone on a vacation without home exchange. But that's true everywhere. We wanted to know what happens in the Occitanie region and into Montpellier. So we did a study. I hope I'll be able to click. Or not.
Change it.
Okay, perfect. We did a study, and you can see the survey results. We surveyed the 60,000 people who came to Montpellier last year, to Montpellier in the Occitanie region, and 20,000 of them responded. So you can have the results of the study. And lo and behold, what did we discover? One, they didn't choose Montpellier. Montpellier chose them. 51% of them had no plan to go to Montpellier, but it's inhabitants who sold their region, pitched it to the people, and they decided to come. They came from 43 countries. The second one is they didn't go to Montpellier. They went to their version of the Duprés. The local host has a really big importance in home exchanging. In 82% of the cases, there's excellent communication, and in 60% of the cases, people say that they're going to go back to that same house, to that same experience. 60% of the members were families, and as in my case, 70% said that it was a better experience because the house was matching their own needs. And that's why they loved the experience. The fourth is around the fougasse au friton. So 92% of the people, when they exchanged, prioritized local consumption. And in 81% of the cases, the host left a guide giving them recommendations, as did my guide. And finally, what I experienced with the car, a lot of our members experienced with the car also. In 81% of the cases, they came with their cars. And I'm sorry to say that in 66%, they did not use public transportation, even though there's great public transportation in Montpellier, which shows us a room to grow as a company involved in sustainability. Indeed, we're a B Corp, so we have a lot of attention to our social and environmental impact, and we are measuring our carbon emissions, of course that of our staff, but those of our members too. We've been able to stabilize our carbon emissions, and now we're looking for destinations who would partner with us around making their destinations more green and helping spread home exchanging. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I'm glad I have this survey on the slide because I'm going to check it out. Which brings us to our next destination and professional, Dr. K. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So where I should stand? There.
You can stand here.
Okay.
And let's, you can give it a test if you want just to see.
Okay. So thank you everyone for your attention. Not finished yet, but just start right now. So I'm going to talk 8 minutes, right? So you said 8 minutes. It's very hard for me to finish by 8 minutes. But yes, we're going to talk in summary about, what's the Thailand Green Plan Tourism 2030. So we are, sorry, I think this is not working.
Yeah,
so.
just do it from here.
Okay. So then this is the summary to see what happened. And I think we're talking about 2030, and I think everyone here understand that it's urgent. Okay, so that's why Thailand also put the gear toward to make sure that, we are rushing, and we want to make sure that we can be the leaders, be as the priority destination as well. And we thank the funding from the DOT, Department of Tourism, because their work is actually taking care of the nationwide 77 provinces, which is quite big and large as well. So that's why we need to have the committed partners. And I am as a, working for the university. So in Thailand, we normally have the university work closely with the different department, ministry as well. So that's why you can see that we integrate plan to make sure that everyone engage in this work as well. And we are STAC, Sustainable Tourism in Action Center, that we call STAC Thailand under Mahidol University. And I thank my university as well that allow us to work hard, not only teaching, researching, but work is real, with the real impact. And then we're talking about the project consistent of 5 key steps, which is we have to study on the secondary data, look at integrate of the different ministry in terms of policy and plan. And also we review, link the people together, look at the different stakeholders, and also develop assessment criteria, which is that's why we come up to have Thailand good travels under alignment with the green destination standard. And also we creating we call monitoring platform, monitoring system, that we can look at Thailand as a sustainability status for the holistic. So which has been developed to look at the different partners, committed partner in different ministry, to see their performance in the next 5 years as well. And yeah, and they're very important. It's about networking. It's very important to look at the stakeholders' engagement. So this is what we bear in our minds, that we cannot work alone, because that's why we have our 50 committed partner, and we're still calling more as well in terms of the international level, or also in the national level as well. This is what our network. So I think everyone here, I think if you can see Thailand, who's Thai? Who Thai? Wow, you should give a big hand for them, because all of them have top 100 green destination. So, yeah, thank you for 25 people, come to here for, celebrate themselves, to be on the step of inspiring step, or to go for the award program as well. So this is our partner. And you can see that our plan, our action, it's not only plan, it's about action. So then you can see the step from like MOU signing, committed partner agreement, and have like standard public hearing survey, until we have kicked off the Thailand Green Plan 2030, and we have more to come as well, to have like the coaching system, and then more auditing system, which is we're going to make it more strong this year as well. And also we're gonna have like the award national programs before we set up to have like the top 100 list for the next year. So that's why we work like a system, and that is what actually is not only me, but also it's our expert team from Green Destination, and also with other partners like Professor Fong Suir. So he is also our consultants as well. Here you can see what is going to be new for Thailand as well. We look at Thailand reshape the sustainable tourism ecosystem. So we have to be confident. That's why we have to inspire our people to understand that what is the current ecosystem now for Thailand, and what is going to be the next, and we try to make it happen under sustainable tourism ecosystem. That's why we use the word reshaping. And because we need to integrate it, practical sustainabilities. So that's why we pay more attention on our new tourism supply chain. So that's why we need the committed partner. And also you can see for strategic initiative that we use the brand positioning. So that's why we have TAT, Tourism Authority of Thailand, working hard for their product development. We have a sustainability certification in terms of, the standard that we have small hotel. We more focus on the SME level because we understand that they need the government to support them as well. We have the CBT, community-based tourism, and we have the destination. And that's why we have a lot of national park coming this year as well. So maybe next year they said they're going to have like 10 national park that will on queue to develop themselves as well, and work as one team. So that's why I'm not so sure other countries have the same problems, but in Thailand we have like a different ministry. They're quite a little bit competitive. So that's why I'm not so sure you have any problem. Look at your side. I don't feel that you have any problem like us. We have that problem. So then we want to make sure that, we work on the same pillar. So thank you very much that we have the almost last slide. We have the Thailand Good Travels, which is called monitoring platforms. I think you can search thailandgoodtravel.info. So then later on you will see how we use the sustainable tourism indicators that we're gonna measure our performance in each provinces. Remember, we quite big, 77 provinces. So that's why we want to make sure that every single SME level can see their dot, into one provinces, and they can see themselves to support Thailand's sustainability. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I owe you one more minute. But actually, we're finishing with this slide. Today we had an earlier session about benchmarking. It is so important between one area and the other to benchmark and to understand what's going on, because if some areas or municipalities or regions are ahead in sustainability, and at a glance, they can see that where they're better or where they're not doing as well, then that's really the key to improving, because sustainability is a journey, and measuring sustainability is the key, because without measuring, we can claim all we want, but then, it's not effective. So we need these measures, and we need these platforms to measure. By the way, we can see more through our we at Green Destinations are going to do much more of that through our collaboration with Because and other platforms. We'll get to that another time. It is time to go to Madame Mignon. Vous êtes très mignonne, Madame Mignon. Yes. So we let Ms. Kay finish earlier, and I think we are now going to the acteurs du tourisme durable. Les acteurs alors.
Hello. So I'm very impressed by the Thai efficiency. So now it's France. So let me start with the vision of tourism that we adopted for our network in 2022. A tourism that preserves natural resources and minimizes its carbon footprint, where long-distance carbon-intensive travel remains the exception. A tourism that is meaningful and accessible to all, fostering well-being, sharing, social inclusion, discovery, and cultural exchange. And finally, a tourism that has a positive impact on local economies and communities, with revenues distributed fairly. This is the end of the foundation of the commitment of ATD. So it's here that I have to press. So Acteurs du Tourisme Durable is the first French community of professionals fully committed in sustainable tourism. It has been created in its actual form in 2014. This is a non-profit organization. This is not non-profit network, bringing together today more than 300 members across all the sectors of tourism, hospitality, tour operators, destinations, medias, universities, and consulting organizations. And our principal mission is to act as a bridge between institutions and the field. And we empower professionals with right tools, knowledge, and opportunities to act for a more responsible tourism industry. And you'll discover it through the next slides. No, it's here. Okay. So our role and activity, there are three of them. ATD gives a voice to professionals committed in sustainable tourism, in dialogue with the policymakers, institutions, as I said, and partners. In 2022, as I tell you, we updated and adopted our mission. And even earlier, in 2021, just after the COVID, we published a manifesto stating loud and clear that tourism must be environmentally sustainable, socially fair, and economically viable. We provide resources, expertise, and practical solutions so that our member can turn sustainability into action and not just intention. And I would say even not only our members, it's open to all professionals, actually, even non-members. Second mission is networking and sharing. So I tell you, we are 300 members. So we organize many events, such as the Sustainable Tourism Summit, which gather together around 500 professionals each year to address the key issues on sustainable tourism. And this year, the focus will be on the living world, so very, very wide, in a broader sense, including biodiversities, natural areas, resources, and more. And we look forward to meeting several of you next week, because it's next week, in Angers, in the Loire-Vallée, for this year's event. And we also, during the year, run meetup, more informal local meeting in every region. So it's held by the members themselves. And the object is to connect members together, students and project leaders in regions. And these moments are very designed to foster collaboration and inspiration. And finally, another of our mission today, we run several things. First of all, awards, which are called Trophée Horizon, which are organized around key transition themes. And we also publish more and more studies, guides, and analysis to keep professionals and destinations, whether they're member or not, up to date with the latest knowledge. So, for example, we made in 2021 tourism and climate change. We had one on new destination KPIs. We have a guide, it's a third edition in 2025 on standards and certifications. We had one also on inclusive tourism, and more recently we had a foresight study to imagine the future of our sector that was made in partnership with two of the main official organizations, which are Atout France, the French tourist office, and ADN Tourist, which gather together all the tourist offices in France. So tourism has the power to create positive change, but we know, all of us, that it has also an undeniable impact on the environment. And our approach in ATD is to recognize this impact and to work collectively across the professions to transform the practices. So we built a strong community for 10 years now. We share the knowledge and we support each other. We make partnerships together. And it's not only just a matter of responsibility on our way of thinking, it's also about resilience, innovation, and the attractiveness of the destinations in the long run. And so to conclude, I would say that the fair, inclusive, and sustainable tourism is not a market for us, it's a direction that every professional should embrace to help build a better future, one that fosters well-being, cultural discovery, and local prosperity, while preserving our planet for future generations. And ATD is proud to be the driving force in France, uniting professionals, including the CRTLO that welcomes you in Montpellier here, and many of people here who share this ambition. So I thank you for your attention.
Madame Caroline, thank you so much. Creating a network is so important so that the players can learn from each other. And I really loved some of the resources you mentioned, that if somebody is from France or wants resources in French, I think this is a good idea to look as examples of what is being done and that you can use them. It's very interesting to see. And did you know that Madame Le Goff is also a member of this network, by the way. So this is a great segue, or transition, as we say. It's very American to segue today, to the DMO, Spider-Man of the destination. Let's find out why Spider-Man and how. This is kind of cool.
Okay, so as I told you, when I started working in tourism more than 20 years ago, the DMO Destination Management Organization's main missions was to promote the assets of territories. I assume that today the DMO's role is to be a Spider-Man of a destination. So, hello again, I'm Deborah, and I'm coming from Granville-Terre-et-Mer, a territory based in Normandy, a seaside located territory composed of 32 cities in the Bay of the Mont-Saint-Michel. Its main town is Granville, west-oriented within the Mont-Saint-Michel Bay. And the particularity of Granville is that it has an insular district called Chausey, composed of 52 islands at high tides and 365 islands at low tides. And Chausey is the window of all the social and environmental issues of the whole territory of Granville-Terre-et-Mer. Since 2019, altogether, inhabitants, local companies, professional tourist actors, we all decided and thought about our positioning and decided to say and to claim that Granville-Terre-et-Mer is a sustainable nautical territory based in lights, generator of creativity, shared traditions, and childhood joys in the rhythm of the biggest tides in Europe. That was a positioning, a claim, a song we wanted to promote abroad all together, and we call it the Humpback Whale strategy, considering that, like male humpback whales, if we all sing the same song together, we will be heard very far away. So we decided to have this strategy, considering and having straight in mind that that song must be sustainable, of course. For that, we use all the marketing tools you all know in terms of attractivity, and gathering ambassadors, inhabitants to promote the territory, local companies. We create a brand code, of course. But we also create a tool that is called a MOOC, a massive online open courses. We call it Information Whisperer, chuchoteur d'information, to anybody who loves the territory and who wants to share it, to share it with tourists, inhabitants. And it's composed of 4 units. 1 unit is to know about the destination. 2nd unit is to know about the issues of the destinations, environmental, social. 2nd one is how to welcome people on our territory and have a sustainable welcoming. And last one, is to be an ambassador of the destination. And this tool, we created with local, traditional tourist actors. We worked with local professionals, but also with departmental professionals, partners, regional partners. Normandy Tourism Board is here today. The region of Normandy is here too. So we work with them. But very soon, we gather the inhabitants to share the song, to create the positioning. But at that point, we also worked with the water actors. And we started to have shared operations to sensibilize the tourists, the public, with the water forecast on our tuk-tuk to the tourists. We had other actions like the water bottle friendly operation just to sensibilize both tourists and professional actors. So we started to weave the web all together with waste actors, water actors, just to be more efficient all together for our territory. At that point, we created the flower transition within our own administration to be sure we would identify easily the synergies between all the departments of our own institutions. That seems to be very easy to do, but in reality, it's not that easy. So we need to think, to be all around the table and to think about the synergy we can have all together. At that time, we decided we had to improve our speech to tourists. We were the tourist office. We know how to welcome tourists. But we had to reinforce our speech in terms of environmental knowledge and issues. So we decided to be trained by local environmental associations on our very located problem of the fish food on the foreshore on our own territory. So they trained us, and we went to the foreshore to sensibilize the tourists to the resource of our destination. So that was a new, very high point of our way to work with environmental associations. And at that time, they recognized that tourism wasn't bad. Tourism was even good for the territory. And we gained that legitimacy in front of environmental associations to work with. And they even asked us to animate their own seminars about the issues of the cetaceans on the Channel Island on our territory, which was very new before that, tourism and environment, that wasn't very good working together. But at that point, we had gained confidence. So very easy to work together, to work with the national authorities, and to gain that within the web once again. So at that point, we used green destinations to be like an accelerator of our dynamic on the territory. We had all the criteria, and we were, thanks to green destinations, we became legitimate to go to the environmental associations to ask, what are you doing at the moment? How can we help you? What can we do together? It helped us to go and meet them. And we go on connecting, creating links all together. We even put the criteria in our local scheme for tourism. At that time, we decided to change what we usually, traditionally in France, call development tourist scheme, development tourist plan, in a balanced tourist scheme. We canceled the word development and introduced the notion of balance between the preservation of the resources and the sustainable development. And we put all the green destinations criteria in each action of this plan. So as you can see, we are working with at many levels, local levels, regional levels, all together, and we go on considering that we just have to make links and connections all together. And our reason for being now, we work with the team. I have the chance to have a tremendous team to work with and to work within. And with this team, we built the reason for being, well, that's mine, which is that we are convinced that happiness and beauty deserve to be shared, and that the Granville destination, Terre et Mer destination, is the source of this happiness. So the tourist office is a facilitator of links, ensuring that the good life of the destination is shared and preserved. We are convinced that now it's the role of the tourist office. We are the Spider-Man of the destinations and have to share or to save the destination, whatever you want. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Now we know all about the networking and building a web. It was really impressive. The awareness raising tips from Madame Le Goff were also very, very interesting. So, all right, thank you for your attention. And now we go to Riviera Maya Sustainability. I'm sorry, it's in Spanish it's Riviera, I think, but Riviera. Yes, but it's a Riviera nonetheless. In Riviera. Ouais, voilà. Great, please. No, I think.
Okay. Thank you, Ijaz.
You're welcome.
I'm so impressed on your incredible work. I love your network. Thank you very much. I am Beatriz. I come from Mexico. And I want to talk about how I don't feel that sustainable it's enough for today, because I think that using the word sustainable has been overused, but we haven't seen the changes that we need in this world. And that's why I see how going from sustainable tourism into the regenerative paradigm. Transformative vision that goes beyond traditional sustainability. And we will explore how tourism can evolve from doing less harm to really actively regenerating ecosystems and communities. I mentioned that I am a transform from marketing, graphic design, and communication to sustainability. Why and how? Because I discovered that in Quintana Roo, the state where Cancun is located, we used to have the highest rate of suicide among young people, below 29. And that very day, I decided to close the boutique firm that I used to have, and I decided to start something different. What, how, and when, I didn't know, but I just started. And this is kind of, well, this was 25 years ago, and now we are an NGO, of course, with marketing and communication background, passionate about sustainability and vision. And we are advocated to demonstrate how love is the key action to regenerate what we call tourism. And we evolved from a marketing boutique firm to an NGO fostering sustainability through the personal empowerment and purpose, sorry for the typo, purpose reminding in tourism ecosystem since 1999. And this is who we are. We work with biocultural and heritage enhancing through citizenship science apps, local heroes, community job, capacity building, empowering, of course, with green destinations and workshops. This is with IDB in Belize for companies and destinations. Well, we think that less bad is not enough. It's like, let's not harm so much. No, let's leave the community better than we found it. Community, ecosystem, everything. And in the face of our climate and social crisis, we need a radical evolution, moving from being less bad to actively contributing to the well-being of the ecosystem and community, because we share the same world. And it doesn't matter if we live in France and we visit Mexico, it's the same water, it's the same air, and if we pollute and contaminate in one part of the world, we will receive that in the other part. And why the private sector for us is the real catalyst, because those are the essence of the regenerative tourism, where economic profitability goes hand in hand with the regeneration of the ecosystem and communities. Because remember, small and medium enterprises represent over 90% of our productive sector. If we don't create local capacities in those little companies, we are not doing, not even sustainability, but far from regeneration. How do we work? We work in a framework aligned with World Economic Forum that they have said that countries fostering an entrepreneurial spirit, supporting businesses creation, innovation, and investment can leverage the power of tourism. Of course, we work with GSTC. I am a board member for the GSTC since 2014. Of course, SDGs, circular economy, and through GSTC Green Destinations. And we have this readiness matrix in order to make SMEs and little or big destinations understand where they are. Based on all these global frameworks, and we use the certification as an initial step or the excuse to work together. And this is our methodology. We localize local heroes. We go to the green destinations through the fix. The matrix information fulfilling first. Then we go to, of course, we love top 100 because the local heroes can shine and bright in those stories. We discover the hidden heroes. We craft the stories. We create a documentary. And with this documentary, we create training and local capacities. And we create at the same time this network and the noise and the need to be more connected, more sustainable, and more profitable in order to really be able to be sustained throughout the line of time. And of course, we need to open opportunities to the market access. Our components, as you can know, for the regeneration is the ecosystem health and valuation, communities, integral well-being, high quality transforming experiences, and those are based on love. Residents must love what they do in order to transmit love. And of course, economic sustainability. The principles for this, the systemic vision, what we call global vision, identity pride, to love who we are, what we are, harmony over competition, and net positive outcome. We think that sustainability is about love. But you can't ask someone to love more. Conditions can be created in which love can flourish. Sustainability and regeneration give us the methodology to create those conditions. And the case studies that we are seeing is San Crisanto in Yucatan in Mexico. This is not a company, it's a cooperative integrated only from local people, and they discovered that they were losing the mangrove, over 1,000 hectares of mangrove. In here you can see the video of the story. But one day they were in a bad flood and they decided to break the highway, and in that way they balance the water income, and the fresh water could come into the mangrove, and they recovered over 1,000 hectares of mangrove. This is San Crisanto. Over 25 years of ancient wisdom plus innovation, and now they are pioneers in the green and blue carbon markets. Cayo District in Belize is this journey of how working with federal authorities through the Belize Tourism Board and us as the new power of coming from the outside and seeing the hidden gems that they had in Belize, but they hadn't seen them, and they hadn't included them in the ecosystem. And this is Cayo District, and of course, as well, you can see here the story. This is a heritage stewardship engaged local communities, but we are totally, as you can see, based in women's cooperative, young people teaching the ancestral music and ancestral Mayan cooking. And tomorrow you will see the whole story of community tours Siancan. Roman is here. He's a real Mayan, and I think that our highest pride in Riviera Maya Sostenible is to really be working with Mayans. As you can see, San Crisanto, Belize, and community tours. With them, we try to remind them who they are and to put their own value in the showcase of the world, to remember, to not only them, but their visitors, to remember who we are in connection with nature. And this model in Siancan, it's an incredible model of government vision with community empowerment, social economy plus education integration, and how are they educating the next generations in this incredible Siancan Biosphere Reserve, UNESCO and Ramsar site, with over 500,000 hectares protected, and those are the guardians of those areas. Yes, and this is the vision of Riviera Maya Sostenible, transforming tourism into a force for regeneration of ecosystems, communities, and economies, because a paradise can only be forever if it's for everyone. So I invite you to be part of this movement, and thank you for your attention. Merci.
Sorry if somebody wants to take this before I... Merci. Wow. Regenerative tourism, food for thought, and those examples of the mangroves and other places. I mean, that's like really a success story, and we need more success stories because we know that there are so many challenges. So thank you for that. That was wonderful, and we're going to get back to all of you, actually, but I'm going to start with a question from my end before we take questions from the floor. So if you have any question, keep it in mind. But just a quick question for Monsieur Emmanuel. You know, it's very interesting. I was reading on your site about HomeExchange, and what I'd like to ask you about a bit more is the sustainability factor, which is available on your website, of how you actually make, how this activity can be of exchanging homes more sustainable in a way for the tourism sector. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. We did some studies on two dimensions regarding sustainability. One is on our carbon footprint, where we compared the carbon footprint of somebody doing a home exchange compared to a short-term rental, compared to a hotel. Without much surprise, the bigger part of the carbon impact is how the people came to the city. So, you know, between the person coming and doing a home exchange with a plane a person doing a short-term rental, for instance, with a car, the plane is going to have the worst impact. But if you take out the transportation, what we see is that home exchanges have less impact than short-term rentals, which have less impact than hotels. And the reason for that between home exchange and short-term rentals is pretty simple. 70% of our homes are primary homes, and they're used a lot more. So the physical building, the carbon footprint that was needed for the construction of the building is amortized on a much greater usage, which makes the stay a lot lower in terms of a carbon footprint. In terms of sustainability, the other factor we've looked at is the impact on the housing market. There's a huge crisis in many very touristic destinations like Venice, Barcelona, Paris, Amsterdam. And the fact that there is no money exchanging hands between hosts and guests means that there is no competition between locals and tourists. Both studies are also available on our website in the sustainability section.
Interesting. Yes, definitely going to read up on those. Very, very nice addition, even in Thailand, for example, to integrate home exchange as part of the tourism product. You know, it could be interesting for people to see what's going on, which brings us...
We're going to work on a partnership.
Oh, fantastic. Good to know. I like that. That's what we're here for, Green Destinations, getting people who just happen to be sitting next to each other to exchange and get ideas and build on each other. Dr. K, you've done a wonderful job, you and your team, with the long-term vision sustainability for Thailand, and I'm sure it wasn't an easy one. So it's a simple question. What to you were the major challenges, like one or two major challenges that you faced during this journey of sustainability? And what advice can you give to other destinations on overcoming these challenges?
I think they have so many challenges since start as well. I
Definitely,
think,
yeah.
but I mean the main challenge is about how to integrate the government agency work together. So because we have no power, so I mean we as a university level, but because we have like heart, you know, we have like the passion to see Thailand change. So that's why we want to be the change agent. But because we have a lot of network, so that's why we use our network to support the government. So we have to make sure that, you know, we have some strength, which is they don't have. So that's why I think the first challenge is about what is the integrated version for Thailand to let all the government agency work together. That's the first one. The second one is about how I think we have the challenge of the political issue. I'm not so sure others countries have that, but in Thailand we have. So then when we change the political party, they might have the different project or they might have the different versions.
Trust
so that's
me,
why
it happens everywhere.
everywhere, right? Not
Everywhere.
except only Thailand, right? Noms, right? So
Yeah.
make it simple. So that's why we have to make sure that our partner, I mean the main sponsor, Department of Tourism, they are sitting here as well. So they are working hard to make sure that this project like consistent. So that's why when we plan for them, then we have to work with them toward 5-year plans, which is normally that budget year is about, you know, roll up like a year basis. So that's why we want to showcase for the first year to make sure that is we call real impact projects. That means even you change the party, even you change the political or person in charge, then they see the values in it.
Fantastic.
So that is the second things. And the last thing is about I think the concept of sustainable tourism, I think this is something that all the ministry, they may not understand. I mean, they know on their scope. But in our sector, they might understand more about sustainable tourism. But in terms of Ministry of Environment, they know about protection. They are on the destination, but they may not know about tourism. So that's why we try to make sure that we can integrate the idea of, you know, sustainable, regenerative ecosystem and all sustainable supply chain on our plan. So that's why Thailand Green Plan 2030 is something that everyone needs to understand as well. So that is what
I think that's is the challenge about.
Thank you. That's actually, you know, I saw our French colleagues laughing and nodding in agreement. I'm thinking in my head, this is so similar to Greece, Turkey, and the Arab world. These, you know, you highlighted pretty much, you know, the challenges that are happening around the world, even with municipalities changing, governments changing all the time, people wanting to undermine the work that has gone before them so that they can shine in another way. It happens everywhere. I'm very excited about the fact that you're a great example of academia driving the change through the university. So this is very interesting that academia can actually have the power to lobby and push change in sustainability throughout the country. This does not happen very often. Even in Europe, a lot of these nice studies stay in the universities or with the students, and there are beautiful theses that haven't been translated into action, but yours has. So I'm very proud of that. And speaking of such challenges, you know, even building a network, even if like-minded people, can have its own challenges. So Madame Mignon, tell us about your challenges in building the network and how we can overcome them. And I want a couple of quick tips on how other destinations can build networks, what you would tell them.
Well, there are many questions in one, actually. So our network is 10 years old now, and we work with the government when we've got one, actually. Well, it changed quite regularly, actually. It changed. No, of course. We work with the official agency for quite a few years, but not that much. I mean, 3 years maybe. We made partnership with national agencies in the same goal of what you said, to have something that length. Because it's sustainable tourism is not just like 4, 5, 6 years, like a mandate actually. It's 20, 30, 40 years. So we have to convince people that have the mind for 5, 6 years to look at 20 or 30 years and long term. It's quite difficult. So it's very important for us to have partnerships, written partnerships with this official agency and work on projects for 3, 4, 5 years more and more. So, but it's quite new. It has 2 or 3 years, because before we were seen as the how we can say that, the militants, you see, the ecological militants. So not very serious. And now I think it's more and more serious. And the plan Destination France, which is a new plan for 2030, has on the first sentence is make France the first. Sorry for the others. The first destination for sustainable tourism in the world. This is the first sentence of the plan for 2030. I don't know if we will succeed, or Thailand maybe, or Slovenia, or I don't know. But it's now it has been included in the strategy. So I hope we made something for this reality to come true and to have this in the national strategy, but it has been a long work convincing people.
Quick tip on how to build a network.
Well, actually, how to build a network. We had this law for association in France, and so we've built it quite easily, because we had this Loi 1901, this law for association. So we gather together different kind of organization, association, societies, comité regional committee for tourism, etc. So everyone can be a member. And so we were 30 members. Now we are 300, 10 years after. But it came more and more, and we have to work together. It's not just a question of declaration or intention. It's to have project together and to measure project, and then make the next project with new people, and then we build a network actually.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. That's in English we say simplify, don't complicate. Doing a network is just bringing like-minded people together and then seeing what the law allows to build like an association and going for it. So simplify, don't complicate, don't find barriers, get people together and start your own network in your own destination or country. Voilà, c'est tout. And yes, it definitely, you stole my question about love, but no, I'll figure something out. You know what I wanted to touch on? Actually, I liked your Make France, the first destination. It's like kind of like Make America Great Again, but at least, but this is with sustainability. Make France sustainably great again. I like that. So, since we've tackled so many challenges, I mean, at Terre et Mer, Granville Terre et Mer, it's what you've done with raising awareness and showing people on the ground and showing people on the beaches what can be done is impressive. Because it's, you know, how many times do local authorities go on the ground to raise awareness is not something you see every day. So I'd like you to help us out here and imagine that you were a consultant for many destinations, and how would you tell them to raise awareness, to help raise awareness on sustainability among tourists and among the locals?
That's again a very, very large question. How do we do it? I think when we started to wonder how, first thing was, are we ourselves convinced in the team? Is all the team convinced? Are we going to all share the value? And first step was to make sure everyone was in the same dynamic. And then it came just naturally, because we started maybe 6 years ago, and not everyone in the team was convinced by the interest of sustainability, etc. Today, all of them are very engaged and very convinced of the fact to act for, and that's even the sense of their work. And once they were convinced of that, one day we just gave the opportunity to go on the seashore to tourists, to meet the tourists. It wasn't on their tasks of missions. It was some extra work, if I can say. And I just asked, who would like to test that? I will give you time on your work time just to go and test it for the interest, the common interest, the territory interest. As a manager, I authorize you just to go on the work time. And there were 7, we are a team of 18 people, and 7 of them decided to go. They were volunteers, in fact. So I didn't force them. They were volunteers. And now we are 11 in the team just to be volunteer and to go. So that's maybe one clue, not to just direct people to do, just convince them and be sure they will share the value to do it. I don't know if I answered well, but that's maybe a tip.
It's fantastic, and it ties perfectly with the question about love. You know, you really have to love sustainability, and that's why we're all here. I mean, of course, there is a financial component to it and profitability component, but you know, we have studies and we have proof that if we're more sustainable, we can be more profitable, but it has to come from love, and you know, something that you do. So, and if there's somebody who prophesizes love a lot, it's Beatrice Barrial, and I'm going to ask you, because you really succeeded through a lot of love in transforming or creating it's like the Christ and the Antichrist, excuse the religious, you know, but if we look at Cancun with people coming to resorts where there's a lot of crime, where people stay in the resorts, they don't know much about the culture apart from, you know, a lot of these, you know, me as a Canadian, I know a lot of these visitors to these resorts are from America and Canada, and they would know what guacamole is, they would know what margarita is, and that's about it. And that's where it stops. So there was a huge transformation in somebody awakening an old noble culture, the Mayan culture, right next door, and transforming a product from villagers, from people who lived in a natural way. I'd like to, and it's also in Belize as well, I believe there is a Mayan culture there, if I'm not mistaken. So how did you build on that old heritage that a lot of people have forgotten about, because, you know, and rather than Mexico with the sombrero and the tequila and the cocktails, to transform it into a higher form of sustainable tourism?
Well, I think that you are very optimistic saying that I have transformed. No, I am just trying to highlight those local heroes that they have been there forever, but maybe they haven't been seen before. And our job is to make them being seen by the world. And I can say by the testimonials of Roman or people in Belize or San Crisanto, Beatriz, before Riviera Maya Sostenible came to us, nobody saw us. And now we are being seen. And now we know that what we have been doing for our whole lives, like taking care of the mangroves or doing Maya cooking classes or taking care of the biosphere, it's important for the whole humanity. And I think that touching lives and reigniting their purpose and reminding them that they are there for a mission, for a purpose, as all of us, is the center of the thing. And I hope that this will be a wave enoughly strong in Mexico, Belize, and the whole Maya world for authorities someday. I know that in Belize they are, but in Mexico, someday authorities really see sustainability and regeneration more than a speech, an action plan.
Fantastic. We're all aligned. We have some, we're just going to open the floor for a few quick questions. How much time do you have, Wouter? We'll have a look at that. Do we have any questions, by the way? Who, first come, first serve? We have, yeah, perfect. We're supposed to have 25. I ate 2. That's not a problem. Anybody raise their hands for a question to anybody in this team? If you want to learn more about the Thai example, the HomeExchange example, you want to learn more about the French examples that we have, or even the main examples. Any questions that have come to mind? Or if any of the panelists want to ask. Vous pouvez aussi avoir une question en français, poser une question en français, il n'y a pas de problème. Si quelqu'un veut poser une question à quelqu'un.
Hello, yes, I have a question for Dr. Koiti.
แก้วตา Yes, my name. Okay.
Did you plan any education and training program regarding your stakeholders in the region you are operating?
Thank you for your question as well. I think this is the number one thing that we have to do that as well. We already have our training program. So that's why we said we have like coachings. We call them as I think the first step we call for commitment first. So that we gathers our ministry come to be our team. So that's why we call one team. And all of our ministry, they have their own networks. So then we recruit them to be our teams. So then we call them as our tourism stakeholders. So then the first phase, we have to make sure that they understand sustainable tourism development and they have the same ground. And we understand that common ground as well because they come from different ministry. And also, we not only have the government sector, but we also have like, the private sectors and also with the education institute as our partners. So then we let them to be more priority. So then after that, we set up the different training programs. So one is about planning. So we need to make sure that they understand about, the new or sustainable tourism ecosystem. So because we want to be new, so that's why we want to reshape. So that's why this is the first thing that they should understand as well. And then they always been repeat to understand why we have to integrate everyone. And it's not we as our position as the university who work with the Department of Tourism, then we have a set of the education set. So from the very start, and we know who are our stakeholders. So if they are destination, if they are our supply chain, if they are like our government agency, so they actually have like the different set of the training program as well. And next year we're gonna have like the coaching system stronger. So that's mean we as a coaching center, we already connected to the international network to learn something new like regenerative ecosystem or like biodiversity gain and loss or something new for Thailand. So that's why we have to set up some kind of the manpower, which just make sure that everyone understand the same page of us. Thanks for your question.
Thank you. Interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the lady over there.
I just wanted to share something that is very new in France in terms of education, is that there's a brand new network which is called INTO, which gather together 5 universities in France that are very involved in tourism education for future for students. And then they gather together, and one of their strengths and their direction is how do we teach sustainable tourism to the students and for our future professionals. So it's brand new. And it's just being a member of ATD last week, I think.
It's great.
Love this. Can you share
Thank you for the great presentations. So I have a question for the professor from the Thailand University. I also come from local self-government. I'm Tatiana Kasanu, coming from municipality of Kruševo, North Macedonia. Probably you have heard that our country has changed the name on the accession path to the European Union, but still we haven't started the negotiation process, but nevertheless. When it comes to your plan for strategic development, sustainable development, how you are going to measure the fulfillment of the outcome in your plan? What are the indicators that will show you that your plan is fulfilled?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So actually it's not our plan, so it's everyone's plan. So it means like 50 committed partners have the same goals. We have some workshop together. We have about three workshops in 3 months that we need to make sure that every single ministry or every single organization, they have their own goal and achievement. So that's why you understand that we are as the facilitators. So we want to integrate everyone to be one team, but they actually have their own our objectives and also their own KPI. So that's why just sleep example here, they are from the national park. They actually have, have to protect very well. They actually have to make sure that they have the well management. They have top 100 green destination this year. Then the second year, they're going to have award programs. So that's actually have their own. So we have set up the plan. We as a Department of Tourism, we look at the holistics of Thailand. So that's why we need to have this plan to see everyone in plug in. So that's mean a national park, TAT, even ourselves, DOT, the university network, that they actually work as a consulting for different organizations. They actually have their own KPI. And then they will look at the GFTC and GD standard, which is actually want to see what the urgency for the climate action. So that's why with not only environment, but also we look at like ESG, we look at, the scope of sustainability. So that's why we map them or their KPI into one plan. So that's why once we have the bottom up, then we set up our vision. And it's luckily this year, this is what I'm very impressed about all 50 organizations, they want to work as one team. So that's why they feel that they're thinking more, not only their scope of work, but they're thinking about, who should be the facilitator to let us work together. So that's why the plan is very important. So that's why the vision come after, because all the actions is already in place and the indicators that they have is already in their plan. And that's why we want to make sure that in our workshop, we want them to showcase. So that's why we have the flagship project within our 5 years. And the first year is going to be the one that we want to set up one area and then let them try to do cross-sector approach to see how they plan to work together. So, and we are a facilitator to use the mechanism of, integrated people working together, because they never work as one team. I mean, they used to work, like if they have some urgency, like Thailand may be good in the COVID-19. I think every country have the same as well. And they set up like 1 month, everything complete, everyone have job, everyone clear about role and plan. So that's why we set up goal and roles and KPI together after, we set up urgency. So I hope that I answer. Thank you.
Thank you. With the KPIs, a very good question from North Macedonia there. The measuring, honestly, even we at Green Destinations, we were all about sustainability, training sustainability and showing sustainability and implementing it. But if we don't measure it, which is what we're all about today through the Good Travel Seal, all our certifications are changing with platforms to be able to measure, digital platforms that will measure with the right tools. How are we going to measure the trips and the carbon footprint? How are we going to measure the trash that goes, that is collected by the municipality? What part of it is separated, what part of it isn't? We've had workshops in recent weeks on that. And we are designing ways where we can collect this data and input it into platforms so that we can benchmark it against other countries, other destinations, even other municipalities, and against ourselves in order to enhance the journey. That's what it's all about. So that was a very good question and a crucial piece of the puzzle. Without data, we can't do much. And on this note, who else would like to add to our discussions on sustainability in any of our destinations or with any of our specialists? We have a pool of specialists right here. Otherwise, voilà, madame.
My question is for Monsieur Arnaud. I'm curious to understand if the communities within which you've been able to get the HomeExchange program, if you've received any pushback from the local community. I come from a small resort town where I'm involved in government in Colorado, in the US, and many of those resort communities are beginning to pass policies that disallow short-term rentals within certain zones in those towns. And it seems that your framework would allow for more sustainable tourism through this housing crisis being alleviated by not taking those out of the market. But have you experienced any pushback from the local communities through the governments and specifically with policy and zoning? And if so, how have you worked through that?
Yeah, there's a lot of pushback around short-term rentals globally. And a number of municipalities, even like New York, for instance, has passed a law that forbids short-term rentals for less than 30 days. So it's in very large cities have done it. And in some instances, we have been roped in, bundled together with short-term rentals. That happened, for instance, to us in Amsterdam, where they decided that short-term rentals would be only 30 days per year, and there's a whole host of other constraints on doing short-term rentals. And through discussions with them, we were able to change that. The same thing happened in Scotland. But it's a conversation that we must have because short-term rentals are very, very visible, and there's a lot of negative consequences of short-term rentals. You mentioned, and rightly so, the impact on the housing prices. There's also the nuisance for neighbors when you have, people who come every week or, sometimes twice a week who are not locals, who don't know where to put their trash, who are going to have a party in the middle of the night, that kind of thing. And we have to explain that our members are very different. It's mainly families. So, talking to Amsterdam, Amsterdam has a tourist policy where they don't want more tourists and they want a different kind of tourists. Like, bachelor parties in the Red District and coffee shops is not the core of their strategy. And therefore we had to have a conversation with them, showing them that our tourists are different. our members, I'm sorry, are different, and there are more families. There are people going to the Van Gogh Museum, staying for longer stays. So yeah, we've had to discuss, but so far, each time we discuss with local governments, they get it, they understand what the difference is, and we're able to find some sort of common ground.
Very good question there, and I'm glad we addressed it, because indeed the short-term rental issue is changing from radically day by day, almost. Even in Athens last week where I live, new laws have been tightened in more areas about short-term rentals, so it's very interesting to hear about. Next. Let's take a question from the panel itself to any other member of the panel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who would like to ask something about something they heard from the panelists? Floor is still open, of course, to the rest of us. Wouter.
Yeah, I would like to ask Mr. Emmanuel Arnaud. You were talking about how you could do better in letting your guests, I think that's the term you used, using public transport. How do you think you would go about doing that?
So there's a number of things we can do to impact the behavior of our guests. So for instance, what we've started doing is we've stopped pushing destinations which are very far. So in the past, like 10 years ago, you would live in France and we would tell you, hey, go visit Australia, it's so great, and we would push you those kind of marketing emails. We don't do that anymore. So if you yourself save a search, like look at homes in Australia and want to know about every new home coming, we will of course send you those emails, but we've changed the way we communicate. And we're also looking to do partnerships with some destinations who view it as a way to get some information to tourists coming to their area. What we're seeing, for instance, is because of global warming, there's going to be more and more water restrictions. And if you're a tourist coming to a place, you don't really know what the water restrictions are at that moment. And we think that we can be one of the channels of information. So we're talking with destinations today that each time that there's a booking, that's an exchange that's confirmed in a location, the destination could have a little bit of information that's included and linked to their, how do you call it, DMO, is that how you,
Destination
Manager,
Management
their Spider-Man, as we like to call it. And so we're looking towards those kind of solutions.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the question.
Let's take a question from the first row here. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Nathalie Sierveld from the Netherlands. And I have a question for Mrs. Beatrice Barreal. I've been to the Yucatan area a couple of years ago with my family, and I really enjoyed it. But I also came with the experience, read into the experience that it was also some areas. Well, I haven't been to Cancun, but I did go to Playa del Carmen and Tulum. Very beautiful, but also sometimes very crowded. And I also saw a lot of people drinking margaritas and doing, well, And so, but for us it was interesting to go into these, try to find these local homes, places where you could really experience the Mexican food, traditions and everything. And I was just wondering, you were talking about these local heroes, which is actually very interesting because I think through local heroes you could really dive into the history of culture, traditions. You get to experience food, sense, the beautiful Mexican culture. And I was wondering, because you formerly you ran this communications organizations. You were in communications, and I'm in communication and marketing. And I was wondering, how do you give a stage to these local heroes? How do you promote them? And do you collaborate with the Mexican National Tourism Board to give those, or do you really have to find your own partners? How do you do your PR? How do you get them in touch with the world? That's my question.
Huge question.
Huge question.
Well, I try to belong to international networking like GSTC. I'm a board member for GSTC. Green Destination for us is the perfect stage, the top 100 methodology. We have created the stages that you saw, and through top 100 stories, we find the perfect excuse to find the local heroes, to create the story, and to put them in the stage. But afterwards, with that video, we contact market access channels, and we put them into those market channels. And we are committed with them in order for them to erase their visibility in the world, to get better visitors, not more visitors, because we get 25 million people a year in the area. I just need maybe 1% in the funnel to go there and visit them and value them. You know, but we do go through the market access channels to be the last part and for them to really see something back. Not only, it's important to feel recognized, yes, but it's also important to have a good income in order to be able to be sustainable as well. So no, with local governments, we tried for years, federal, local, state, regional, but no, maybe at some point they will come back. Maybe.
Wow. Yes, I'm going to say something and then pass it to Madame Mignon. In fact, sometimes in certain destinations we find that the local government or even regional is not very active, and then we find that if going it on your own is even better in a way through public-private actors or private actors. Sometimes the government's so far behind and there's so much bureaucracy, and I'm talking about Southern Europe, the Middle East, where we found that just when a community goes by itself, it does a better job. The other thing that I wanted to add here in promotion and marketing, by the way, is that when we measure all this sustainability and it's on a platform, the next move of the market, the online marketplaces, we're talking the big players from Amadeus to Expedia to TripAdvisor to Hotels.com and many others, are all in discussions with different agencies that we are in discussions with to distribute more sustainable stays and experiences. This is going to be a paradigm shift which we are around. So this way you can kind of find those gems that are hidden, because they will be recognized as lower impact experiences or certified hotels. And these are new mechanisms that you will be seeing in very soon. I think by next summer season, things will be online or mechanisms where you can access a better treasure treasure trove rather of all these experiences and places.
I wanted to share one experience in France, actually, because we were speaking of the government. And actually, with the Atout France, which is the French tourist office, we've built last year a website together. So our association with this agency, all together. It's called France Tourisme Durable. And actually, it gathered together all the resources that the regions, the professionals, that everyone put on its website, and we've made a huge website which is called France Tourisme Durable, a platform on which everyone can go, make a diagnostic on how it is, where is his company in terms of sustainability, and look for resources on water, on social issues, on mobilities, on etc. And it's open source. Everyone can go on it, and it's really a good example of something that succeeds between a private association and the governmental agency, and it works really.
Okay, I can also share the experience we have on the territory about that, highlighting good experiences and that authentic experiences. Maybe I am lucky, but in Grandville-Terre-et-Mer, we share the same value with our department, which is called Manche, but also with the Normandy region. They're in the room. So it's very important for us, because what we do locally is also promoted at all the levels. So when we found an experience. We also call them Grand Ville Terre et Mer experience. For sure, they have to be sustainable. They have to be authentic, otherwise we won't talk about them. And they are the window of our territory. And we have the chance that the Normandy Tourist Board will also promote them and use them as windows of the Normandy region, so that we emphasize the image of the global region altogether with the same kind of dynamic, but we work locally and then it's promoted at higher levels. So that's very efficient if we, again, talk together, share the strategy, and I recognize maybe we are lucky, but we are.
Absolutely. No, the sharing is very important, especially with your neighbors. You just made me think, because there's an area in Greece that I was working with, one municipality, and they had right in the next municipality an attraction that was very close to them. It was like a monastery that was, you know, there was a hiking path connecting the two. And I said, well, why don't we put this in the tourism product? And they're like, because they're outside our borders, you know, we're not going to put them. And I'm like, okay, you know, and then we decided not to work with that destination. One more question before we call it a day here. Yes, sir. And if you introduce yourself as well.
Gracias. My name is Manuel. I'm from Mexico. I'm from the Mayan community. We will talk about tomorrow. To Monsieur Manuel, now that we were talking about these local heroes, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I understood correctly what you were exposing. So you spoke about like sharing homes, traveling style. So we have a website, something where we organize, like we want to leave our house to someone, we are going to be want to be out for 1 week, and then you have someone who contact you. Is that the way that it works?
Yeah, so we're
sorry, but that's not the real question.
Okay.
So if it's like that, and it's a community doing that, are there guidelines to promote native experiences, authentic experiences that are sustainable? Like when you leave your house, when you go to a new house, there are guidelines for this community to do this promotion. And within the same question, and I'm going to apologize in advance for my French, where can we have fougasse en friton? Merci beaucoup.
Okay, so fougasse friton, you can find it in local boulangerie, which I strongly encourage you to try. And yeah, so the basis is a network of individuals who were 250,000 today, and we think will be about 1 million in 2030. So we have a very strong growth. Who put their homes online, and with a calendar, and it says basically, if you want to come to my home, you can. And people can either do a reciprocal exchange. I go to your home, you come to mine. Or you contact me to go to my home when it's available, and I say, sure, you can come to my home, you'll give me some points based on my home's characteristics, and then I'll use those points to go to somewhere else in the network. And that's 70% of the exchanges. As having guidelines, what happens is that it's the locals who sort of pitch the destination, and it's the locals who give tips. So each person will welcome in the way that they see fit, and you know, somebody might tell you very sustainable things, and somebody else might tell you not very sustainable thing. And we as a website, what we try to do is we nudge the community in what we consider the right direction. So the same way I was sharing the fact that we don't push anymore very far away destinations, but we enable people if they want to be able to go there. We have a very active blog where we put a lot of information about how to travel more sustainably. We created a database of off the beaten track things to see, because the idea is that we don't want to have too many people going at the same time in the same space. We have created eco amenities on the website. So if for instance, if you have a solar panel, if it's a house made of wood, that kind of thing, and you'll earn a little bit more points that point system if you have eco amenities in your house. So we try to nudge the community in the right direction, and I think also people self-select to some extent. That is that you can't make any money with our website, contrary to a short-term rental platform. And I think that a lot of the people who are interested in our system are going to be conscious travelers when they're traveling abroad, and that's who they are. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you for that question. Very, very last question, and very quick. We're out of time, but please go ahead with one more very quick question, very quick answer. Please don't make one of those that has 3 questions connected to each other.
Okay, I will be quick. Same question regarding the HomeExchange. How do you maybe cooperate with destination management organizations? Because as a national board, we have our stakeholders, for example, some association of hotels and restaurants, and they wouldn't be happy if we, let's say, will be making some cooperations with associations like you promoting short-term rentals, because like the sustainability isn't just about like environmental and social pillars, but also about the economic. And our stakeholders think that they should have some economic benefits from the visitors who comes to the country, and because of this exchange they want, will be paying to hotels who have to fulfill some legislation, regulations, and so on. So maybe if you reflect about that.
Yes, I just want to add that she wasn't present at the beginning of the.
Yeah, I was not. Sorry.
So she might have not understood the concept exactly, but
okay.
You have 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
30 seconds is fine.
So it's very easy to some extent. What we show to destinations is that people who travel with HomeExchange save so much on accommodation that they spend more in local businesses. And then it becomes a question of the destination between the partners that they have as hotels and the locals who want to be able to go on a trip and also host, to balance both. And also to some extent, the people traveling with HomeExchange would probably not come with a hotel. The people traveling to a hotel want a quality of service, they want things that they can't get with a HomeExchange, and the other way around. So for instance, I have 4 kids. Taking my 4 kids to a hotel is too expensive for me, and also they would be running around the lobby, and the hotel doesn't want me in their lobby. So we can work with destinations and show them that there's no competition there.
You know what? There's a lot of good questions left, I'm sure, but please feel free to approach the panelists with your questions and explore these topics a bit more. Thank you very much for being here, and we're all available for you if anything you need.